Yay. Hey, you guys, it is Lisa Nicole Alexander, founder of Stand Up Survivor, and we are doing our Tuesday night live. So come on in. I'm excited that you're going to be joining us tonight. Tonight, we're talking about getting and staying free. Now, that is a huge topic, and so we're going to just condense it down to a little shorter one because that honestly could go on for a really long time. And so I just want to make sure that I can give you just some really good information, some tools, some nuggets that you can take back with you, that anybody who's watching this live will know. Just get some basic tools that they need, because even in an abusive situation, relationship, you know that getting free and staying free are kind of like two different things, but they're extremely complicated, and it's a lot easier said than done. So I'm not going to hold off any longer. I'm going to get started. Please like and share, and also share with someone who needs it. I found that people are always able to watch the live later and have such great things to say and have learned so much. I have to do better on my lives too, because I had people in like the UK and different countries. They're like, but it's 2:00 in the morning over here. I can't get on. So I might have to go live at some different times so they can catch a live and get their questions and comments in. So please feel free to jump in with comments and questions, and I'll do my best to get to them as I see them come in. Hey, Andrea. Hi, y'all. Hey, come on in. Okay, so we're talking about getting and staying free. So I'm very honest, very transparent. I'm just going to give you the basics right off the bat. You can be free. First of all, you can get free. You can get free, and you can stay free. See, that's the big thing, is that we may be able to, hey guys, hey, you can get there and you can stay there. Okay, so I got to tell you for myself, when I left my marriage, we probably tried to work it out for like a couple years after. And and that's the truth. I don't really talk about that too much because nobody really asked. But the truth is, it's hard to go and stay gone. But I will tell you this, he was exactly the same person that I left. There was nothing different. You kind of hope and you pray for like this glimpse of change. But if he wasn't ready to change, he's not going to. And so for me, it was like, I knew that I couldn't waste any more time, risk my life anymore, because he didn't change. I had 2 young children. I really wanted my marriage to work. So I stayed a lot longer than I should have and went back many more times than was safe, to be honest. Hey, I see y'all popping in. Okay, so really quick, I know this is a big topic. We're going to kind of condense it tonight, okay? So one thing I want you to know and understand is staying free does not happen overnight. Okay, I got divorced in 2010. It took me like a longer than that to decide to be gone forever. So last October in 2019, we had our annual benefit gala for Stand Up Survivor. And I had a speech for my advocate. I honored her at the event, my domestic violence advocate, when I was in my relationship. And when she came to accept her award, she said something that was really important that I want to share with you guys tonight. And I mean, my speech was great. I was like, I love you so much. I appreciate you. And I couldn't have done this without you. And you know what she said to me? She goes, you did the work. You did the work. I could have told you anything. I could have given you any tools in the world, but it would have meant that you had to do the work. And she said, you made the decision and you didn't stop. If you go through our videos, her and I did a live on Giving Tuesday. Now it's like a quick 15-minute one. And it was so funny listening to her talk. She's like, you chose to continue going and you didn't quit. And I'm going to share that with you tonight. Understand that an advocate can tell you anything. You can read any book. Your parent, your mom, your dad, anybody who wants to help you get out of the abusive relationship could say anything and walk away. But what does that leave you with? You have to decide that you want different, you want more, you want to live and be safe for yourself, for your children, and for your future. No one can make that decision for you. So don't get me wrong. You guys know, I mean, I come straight. I have to come honest with you because I can't really pacify things to make anybody feel better, especially us survivors, because like I always say, domestic violence is life or death. So if I say, come here, honey, I have to tell you that you are in a deadly situation and it's important that you save your life. Now, it may not be deadly physically, but it's deadly emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally. So you do not have to subject yourself to that just because, okay? So I want to make sure that I don't skip what's in my notes before I start yakking. Okay, so I was saying there's nothing easy about the journey. I've been away from my abuser for 10 years this year. And there are moments where it feels like it was decades ago, like that was a long time ago. And then there's days where it feels like it happened yesterday. And we're human. Our body has been traumatized. Our mind has been traumatized. I've been remarried for almost 4 years, and it's still, I still kind of feel like I'm dealing with some of the issues that I did when I was married to my abuser. My husband's like, chill, that ain't me, but my body doesn't remember that, and I've had to do years and years of training my mind. So it doesn't happen overnight. So I will say this, be gracious with yourself. You don't just wake up one morning and you're out of your abusive relationship like, oh, I'm all better. I'm healed. I'm ready. I promise you it doesn't happen like that. And so if one day you're up, great. If one day you're down, great. That's okay. It's just as long as you don't stay down too long and can't get back up. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with the idea that you can be free. Okay. First of all, you have to have the idea that you can be free. I used to listen to songs about being free. My passwords back in the day when I was still married and in my abusive relationship talked about being free. Right. And so my password would be FREE, or I'd spell it out on my phone or whatever, and it would be free. And I'm trying to figure out, why would I always want that? Because I literally just wanted to be free. Okay. And I didn't really think that I could be, but I always remember looking back at that, like you always felt like one day you could be free. Okay. So I wanted to be free to have my own thoughts, my own feelings, free to love, because I'm very much a lover, a person who loves a lot. And when you try to love an abuser, your love is literally just destroyed. And it's like they try to crush it, like, so you're really afraid to give love again. And so I wanted to be free to give love and receive, the love that I deserved. Yes, I agree. I understand. Been a year and it still hurts. It's been 5 months and I'm still recovering mentally. Yeah, it takes a long time. And there's no timetable on how long it takes to heal. So knowing that you deserve to be free is huge. You got to know that deep down inside. You may still be living in the home with your abuser, but you got to know, wait a minute. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be loved. I deserve to be free. Just let that sit for a second. And once that sits inside of you and you realize, wait, I deserve happiness. I deserve joy. You may start to think about things differently. I would look at couples and be like, oh, it's so sweet. I want that. Oh my goodness. I wonder if I could have that, little things, holding hands in public, or him opening the door, or I see the kindness or the affection between couples. And I'm like, whoa, that is really weird. I remember my mom saying this to me one time. She goes, oh, you guys kind of talk to each other kind of hard. She's like, your dad and I we just didn't talk to each other like that. And years later, it came to my mind like, wow, even the way that you talk to your spouse then was so important. So the next thing I wanted to talk to you a little bit about is that knowing that you can be free is the next big thing. I know that I can do it and that you deserve to be happy. So you have to choose you. When you're in an abusive relationship, you are just there. You don't get to choose what's important to you, what's important to your family, what makes you happy. Your world revolves around loving the abuser, doing what you need them to do, doing what they want you to do. It doesn't become about you. So you, as a person, as a woman, as a man, as a victim, as a survivor, you get lost in them. And so you're just confused, you're lost, you don't know what's going on. And so you have to decide, wait a minute, I'm going to choose me, Lisa. I matter. My children matter. So you have to make that decision. And I'm telling you, I think that's one of the big things that I'm going to talk about tonight, is that getting free is a choice and staying free is a choice. Okay. So now that I've done that little spiel. Okay. So that's a really good point. Okay, I'll touch that one in a second. So I'm going to try to address some of the comments that are coming in as well. All right, 15 years free, still healing. You guys, 15 years free. And, that's important that you understand that you're still healing, but not that you're stuck or frozen in the pain and in the trauma, that you're choosing to every day decide to heal. Okay. So you want to be free. Yes, Chantel, exactly. Freedom is a choice. And I always want to challenge survivors that I deal with. Understand that you may feel boggled down. You may feel trapped. You may feel locked down. I get that. I know, I've been there, but I promise you the decision to decide to leave, to run, to be free, they don't control that. They don't control that. You may not be able to do it when you want to, how you want to. They may control maybe the timing or the situation, but the decision to be and stay free, that's all yours. That's all yours. So I did everything. Yep, Chantel, freedom's a choice. I did everything to please him and forgot how to take care of self. Absolutely. Because you, as a woman, as a man, as a survivor, you forget all about yourself, what you like, what you don't like. So getting free. So let's talk about deciding to be free. Okay, I know I can do this. I can do this. How do I get free? First of all, y'all know me. If you got to run, you got to run. And if I mean you're running with no shoes on your feet to save your life and to get to safety, that is what I mean. Okay. I know it's your house. I know it's your car. I know that, you want to stay in the house. I get it. But all of that doesn't matter when it comes to your life. Hi, cousin. Hi, Shanika. None of that matters when it comes to saving your life. Okay. So if that means that you have to just literally run, the situation is hostile, it's violent, I have to save my life because anything can happen in this moment, then do just that. Am I saying, oh my goodness, it's going to be easy? No, it's probably going to be a living hell, but it's not one that you can't pass through and survive. Okay. And yes, when you are leaving, like she said, it's the most dangerous time. But if you're in a volatile situation in that moment, you don't have to stay. If you can run, find a place, run, do just that. Oh, I love that, Becca. I have a note on my bathroom mirror that says you are free. And it's so true too, because once you've been in an abusive relationship, sometimes you have to say, hey, you're free. I'm going to tell you, this is really silly, but my ex-husband, he used to rag on me about something so simple. Like I would leave the cabinet doors open in the kitchen. And to me, it was just like, I didn't even notice that I was doing it. He used to just go off, right? The laundry, I didn't do the laundry good enough. I do anything good enough. And let me tell you, when I got my own place, you better believe that those cabinet doors were open. And I was just like, I'm going to bed, because it was that moment. It sounds silly, but if you've been in it, you understand it's those simple freedoms that you desire and that you like live for. All right. So if you're in immediate danger, you call 911, you get out, you get help. Don't forget 1-800-799-7233, National Domestic Violence Hotline. Safety plan. Some survivors are not able to leave right away, and that's fine. But when you know deep down inside that you deserve to be free, start creating a plan. Start creating a plan and get ready to be free. Are there local resources in your area? The National Domestic Violence Hotline can help you. domesticviolenceshelters.com. There are always resources local. Even if they don't have a shelter, they do have resources that can help you to get to safety. So, sometimes survivors say, oh, no one will ever help me. I get that I hear that all the time. No one ever helped me. No one cares. It's just not a true statement. Is it difficult to get help? Yes. Are resources scarce? Absolutely. But somebody cares. Somebody loves you. Somebody wants to help you. Does that mean you may have to go to a shelter? Yeah. Is it fair? No. Does it suck? Absolutely. Do you have to stay on a friend's couch? Yeah. I remember my friend came, he had kicked me out. I mean, all my clothes out the house, all of them. It was bad. But anyway, and my best friend came, she picked me up, all my stuff, and I slept on her couch. And so you may have to sleep on a friend's couch. You may lose your job. You may be broke. Yes, I get it. I'm not minimizing the severity, the intensity, and the pain that comes with deciding to leave your abusive relationship. And I was going to use the word comfort because you know what's going on in your house. You're used to it. It's not comfortable, but you're used to what's going to happen in the home. And getting outside of your comfort zone, you don't know what it looks like on the outside of that abuse. So that can be a really, really scary thing. Yes. Being divorced, I can't say enough. I am so glad that I am not quarantined with him at this time. Praise God, I am not alone. Yes, I absolutely agree with that. I can't imagine at this point being quarantined with my abuser. And if you are, understand that there are resources, there is help available, and we do not want you to go through this by yourself. Please, your safety is paramount. Okay, your safety and the safety of your children. I posted a video earlier about a woman who was on a show. I forgot her name, but she talked about how her mom was killed during the pandemic. You guys, this doesn't stop. Domestic violence is on the rise. So I want you to make sure that you get the resources and the help that you need. Okay, so if you decide that you're ready to go and you're thinking about leaving, start saving money. Is this something that you can do? I remember I helped a survivor and she said, I want to leave. And I said, okay, what's the step? What do you want to do? She goes, I need a few months. No problem. You have a few months. We had a safety plan in place. She knew what to do if something immediate happened. But in that time, she was able to set up money, save money. and other stuff that I won't disclose, but she was able to do things so that the moment she caught and said, I'm ready, we were on the road, we were gone. And so, yeah, you may not be able to leave right away, but you can start to do something. And let me just say this. I know for myself, I'm a sarcastic. I mean, when I'm frustrated, I can be really sarcastic. Don't do yourself a favor and don't just snippety say out of your mouth, that's why I'm leaving you. That's why I have $1,000 saved in the bank. We may get upset. We may get frustrated, but I promise you that's one of the most dangerous things that you could do. So don't do it. Keep that information to yourself. You don't have a bank account? Do you have a friend? Do you have a pillowcase? Do you have somewhere safe deposit box, somewhere where you can start storing your important papers, your passports, your birth certificates, and money to start being able to save up an opportunity to leave? And again, if you are not ready to leave yet, you still should have a safety plan in place. So if that means calling us, calling an advocate, calling a domestic violence hotline, do that so they have a safety plan available for you while you're still in the home. All right. Let me see. Yeah, I hear you. I try not to say y'all name unless I know I can. Yeah, she talked about that was her problem. I was scared to leave. Yeah, leaving is scary. Leaving is the most dangerous time, but there are still things that you can do. Like, don't announce that I'm leaving you. Don't announce that. That's extremely dangerous. Don't do it. Have a safety plan. Connect with somebody who can help you get to safety. So the next point is, let me skip that part real quick. Tell somebody that you can trust. Do you have someone that you can trust that know what's going on in your home? You ever hear on the news, oh my goodness, the Johnson family, they were amazing. He loved her so much. The children, they were always in the front yard playing. We had no idea anything was going on in the house. Of course you didn't, because you never told anybody. Tell someone so they know what's going on. You may not be ready to leave, but if someone knows that the situation is abusive, it's violent, that you're possibly in danger, they know how they can help you and they can be a part of your safety plan. So it's very important that someone knows the situation you're in. My two best friends, Jasmine and Rachel, they knew that what was going on. They were a phone call or a pickup away. Now, I would have fought one of them if they asked me, if they told me to leave, because I wasn't there yet. But if I did in that moment need to get to safety, that is exactly what I did. I called one of them and they were there. And they know I love them forever. That's good. Yep. Put away a little money from time to time. Put some money away from time to time. They don't need to know. They don't need to know everything. You need to find a way to be able to protect yourself. So I put this in caps. Okay. So you do not, and I mean, you do not get any brownie points. You don't get any, there's no prize. There's no loyalty prize for staying in an abusive relationship. There's nothing at the end of that except for more abuse. You can't change the person. I'm just staying longer. I'm hoping that he'll change. I did too. I met my abuser when I was 19 years old. Okay. I didn't get divorced from him probably for the next 10 years. So, I mean, we're together that long. So I get it. I thought I could change him. I wanted to stay. I loved him. He was my first love, everything. But in the end, what I got was just more and more and more pain. It's like I was building up my capacity for more pain. Don't do it. The kids are enduring more abuse. You're enduring more abuse. And it's like, I like my little props because I'm very visual, but you keep piling more on top. Oh, another year. Oh, I'm just trying to stay. But what's happening is that you're just increasing, you're just getting more and more abuse, and domestic violence gets worse. I always say that I knew that he was going to kill me, whether he meant to or not. It was coming because the violence started to increase. And I knew I didn't want anybody else to raise my children. I just begged God. I didn't want anybody else to raise my children. Yep. Leopards don't change their spots. That's a good one. And I wouldn't be, you guys know I'm a Christian. I wouldn't be one if I didn't think that God could do anything. Anybody could change. I absolutely believe that anybody can change, but it has to be their choice. Let them make that choice. You make the choice to save you and your children. Okay. Yeah. I understand being embarrassed for people to know that you're in an abusive relationship because it is embarrassing. When you saw me, I look like this. You see this smile? Oh, Lisa, you have such a great smile. And when I tell you, I was dying inside, y'all. I couldn't breathe. I was suffocating. But I had the smile on my face, so you would never know, right? And I understand being embarrassed when nobody knows, but guess what? That's not your shame. You didn't do anything wrong. You love somebody. And they didn't know how to love back properly. So that's really and truly that's not your shame to carry. And I would just say, don't worry so much about feeling embarrassed. I will say, because your life is in danger. I wonder how many survivors that are no longer here wish they would have just told somebody, because maybe that somebody could have helped them or saved them. It's not your embarrassment. You didn't do anything wrong. There's no shame to carry. No shame to carry. We got you. We're praying for you. They're saying that in the comments. You're strong enough to handle this. Hey, Nick. Hey, Nick from Forever Your Overwatch is on here, you guys. Check him out. Okay, so let's see. What else? Okay, so be prepared for a very challenging, hard, lonely, and even a broke journey. I'm not here to tell you that leaving domestic violence is beautiful, it's pretty. It looks like, that's not what it looks like. It's challenging. It is hard. It is lonely. It is broke sometimes, you know? And so you have to be prepared for whatever that looks like, but you got to keep going. Don't stop in the middle just because it hurts. Be prepared to want to go back. You know, be prepared because you miss them, because it's familiar, because you want to keep the relationship going or keep the family together. I understand that it makes perfect sense. You're normal. Nothing's wrong with you. But don't go back, because every time you continue to go back, I promise you, it may look really pretty for a little bit. I remember my abuser. I'm sorry. We lived in Alabama. I'd flown back home. I mean, all my suitcases back. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sending for you. I want you to come back, you know? So I came back and it was good. I mean, 48 hours, maybe 3 days, then it was back to normal. Maybe. So you just have to understand that it may look good. Hey, Wendy, it may be good for a second, but I promise you, like she said earlier, they don't change their spots until they decide to get help. It's going to be hard. Okay. So I understand you want to keep your family together. They're you believe in your head that they're the best you ever had. You feel that maybe they were right about me. Maybe I am this person. Maybe I'm not this. Maybe they were right. Well, guess what? They weren't. Those are lies. I'm gonna debunk a really good lie right now. Ready? They're the best you'll ever have. Lie. Okay. I love it. It's a lie. I'm sorry. I just have to tell you the truth. I believed that for so long and I was so broken. And I just thought that he's the best I'll ever have. So I might as well stay with him. I already have 2 kids. I might as well, right? But I'm telling you right now, it is a lie. Okay. And you can do much better and you deserve better. So I encourage you to desire better for yourself. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to shift a little bit here and tell you this: abuse in whatever form it shows itself is deadly. It begins to destroy you piece by piece. So staying in a situation longer just continues to destroy you. If you knew that you could pick yourself up out of a situation and remove yourself and no longer allow yourself to continue to get hurt, would you do it? All right. Okay, I hear that. She said blocks 1.5 years. She said, God told me if I went back, I may not be able to make it out. I promise you. I heard that. I knew it. I knew the same thing. I may not make it out next time if I went back. Yep. Financially broke is better than mentally broke. I'm serious, you guys. I'm serious. It's so true. All right. So I'm also going to say this to survivors. We're just never the same exact person when we get out. We're not. And that's okay. We get to build a new, beautiful us. Okay. We have to now figure out how to live our life with the past that we have, through the pain and trauma that we endured. I didn't grow up saying, oh my God, I want to be a domestic violence advocate one day. I want to be a spokesperson and specialist for domestic violence advocates. I didn't grow up saying that. I didn't even know my life would take this direction. But because it has, my future has changed. And I've decided to use my pain and turn it into my purpose at this point in my life. My 86-year-old aunt was murdered. You are right. Wow. 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 That's sad. That's powerful. There's no age limit on that. So it also made me look like the person that I am today. I don't like confusion. Don't raise your voice at me. I don't like fighting. I don't like loud noises, profanity, slam doors. This is the Lisa, that I am today as a result of the trauma that I endured. So my point in telling you that is understand that your trauma is going to cause you to kind of move a little differently, accept different things, tolerate different things, allow yourself to be surrounded by different things. And that's okay. You get to decide what your life looks like moving forward. and I wasn't really going to talk about, but I will. You get to, like I always say, you teach people how to treat you. Don't talk to me like that. Don't yell at me like that. If it's a situation that I don't like, that I'm uncomfortable or I feel unsafe, I'm removing myself. Those are the decisions that I made for myself. And I encourage you to walk the way that you need to. You know, they could be your closest friends. I remember I was friending, Dana, no loud stuff. Don't yell at me. It doesn't work the same. Because what my body remembers when you start yelling at me is something different, you know? So, oh, did she say she died in 86? Oh, let me go back into that. Oh, I don't know. Okay. So I remember I was going through my friend list. I was going through it. In 2011, I went through all of my friends and I said, hey, if you are friends with my abuser, I can no longer be friends with you on, through social media or whatever. And feel free to reconnect with me if you guys ever, if you ever unfriend him or whatever. No hard feelings. This is my cousin. I love him. That's my guy, whatever. But I had decided for myself that I needed to cut off. This was years ago when I had first left. I had to carve out for myself the life that I needed to create to allow myself to feel safe, to find peace, and to be happy. And if that meant, hi Iris, if that meant that I couldn't be around certain people, even if it was my family, then that's exactly what I had to do. Because for years after, my family, they love him. They're great friends with him. They had no problem. And I had to be okay with that. And I had to realize for myself, what do you need to do? And I did what I needed to do. Okay. Yes. Okay. She was murdered in 86. Yes. Her aunt was murdered in 86 due to domestic violence. Thank you for that clarification. Yes. So yes, Catherine, great point. You need to know that domestic violence is not your fault, period. You didn't do anything to cause it. There's nothing that you could have done to change what that person chose as a choice to do. So there's no reason to feel shame or guilt. And I know it's like, oh yeah, but my point is, and what we as survivors want you to know, that if you're in it, it is not your fault, period. Okay. So I did that in their inbox. I said, hey, that was to my cousin. I said, hey, I'm choosing not to be friends with anybody who's a similar friend. And so that was just in their inbox. I never made it public. And, it took me a few years to come out and talk about it publicly. And just another thing, when I talk on my page about sharing your story, that's not for everyone. You can share your story in a one-on-one conversation. You can share it to a million people. That's your journey to decide when you share it, and how you free yourself in that way. Okay. So do yourself and your children a favor and your own sanity a favor. Choose the opportunity to live this life in peace and with joy. That's what you were meant to live it with. So give yourself the gift of freedom. Give yourself the gift of freedom. If you are still in the relationship, I challenge you to give yourself and your children the gift of freedom and peace in your home. If you're out of the relationship and you're still trying to figure out, should you go back or should you not, give yourself the gift of freedom. Give yourself the opportunity to know what's on the other side, and I love the other side of it. I'm happy as a result of choosing myself and my children as a result. Was it easy? No, it was pretty hellish for a while, but it definitely got better. I'm rambling and I have like other pages, so let me keep moving. Okay. Try to get to your questions too. Okay. So you need to connect with someone who can support you. Okay. So if you've already decided that you're going to leave. Okay. And so you need to connect with someone, whether it's a women's group, counseling, group therapy, domestic violence group. You got to get somewhere where you can get the support that you need. That's really, really important. It's already a lonely journey being in an abusive relationship, because oftentimes you're journeying alone. No one knows you're experiencing it. So the healing process, I would encourage you to find someone to journey with you through that healing process, because it's not easy. And I encourage you to find someone who can help you heal and push you toward the journey of freedom. And I wrote something that I'm going to say. I was kind of questioning, should I say it or not? But I'm going to say it. So just because someone has not been in an abusive situation does not mean that they can't help you. So, oh, you wouldn't understand, you don't know. That's just not a true statement, okay? Especially someone trained in therapy or something like that, or even just a good person or a friend who has knowledge. And just because someone has been in an abusive relationship doesn't mean that they can help you either. Okay. Because I'm going to tell you, okay, having a nonprofit organization and having this page, with over 57,000 people, I encounter people all the time who say, they're just still very upset 20 years out, and they're still very angry. For someone who is trying to heal and process, you got to put yourselves around people who are ready to heal, who are ready to help you move forward. You can't be You can't allow yourself to be angry and bitter for a long time about what you occurred. Okay. Absolutely. Church was my safe haven. My religion, my faith was very important to me. That was my safe place. I went to therapy. I remember one time I went in my friend's garage. Deidre, shout out Deidre. So I went in her garage. I asked her to use her punching bag, put on her punching gloves, and I had my headphones on with some songs that I needed. Some were gospel, some were secular. It didn't matter. The songs that I needed, and they're still my songs today. If I put them on, it's not good, right? And so I went to punching the punching bags, and I just bawled and I cried. And in that moment, I got out all the anger, all the pain that I had been feeling, because when you're in the abusive relationship, you don't get to feel so much. Your feelings aren't really valid. So while you should be crying because you're hurt, you're just trying to stay alive or protect your children. So for me, that day in the garage, I went to town in her garage, and I remember walking out feeling a lot lighter. So for me, that was helpful. I went to church. I literally was balled up on the floor crying, just trying to get myself healing. You know what I mean? So let's see. Healing is very, very important. I agree with that. Agree. Oh, I like that, Dana. Allow yourself to enjoy peace. Allow yourself to enjoy peace. So I know, so let me keep going. I know you may have thought that you may not be able to live without this person. And I loved my ex-husband, y'all. And I mean, I will always care for him, you know, whatever. But I loved him, and I didn't want to get divorced, and I didn't want to leave him, and I wanted it to work out, but I was dying. So I had to decide that I wanted to live instead. Okay. Just know that there are amazing, beautiful people that are willing and want to love you, but you got to give them the opportunity to do just that. Okay. So let's talk about staying free. So staying free is an active, daily, and conscious choice. You can wake up one day and say, oh, I miss him so much. Or they text or they call you. They may move, they may live across the street from, they may move just to continue to torture you. They may call you, text you, use a system to get to you. Their children, send messages through your children, manipulate visitation, go through the courts, the police, family, and friends to try and contact you. This is a daily thing, you guys. I know because you guys tell me. I've been there. This is stuff that you go to on a regular basis just to stay free. And understand too, that when I say free, I don't just mean free from the abuser. I also mean free in body, free in mind, free in spirit. You free as a person. Okay. So we're going to talk about a little something. Can you go no contact? Okay. So no contact doesn't work so well. Like no contact didn't work so well for me because I had 2 children. And so it was a lot more complicated and difficult. It didn't work so well for me, I should say, but it did work to a certain extent. So in order to keep a healthy mind and body, spirit, you're going to have to go no contact. Okay. And no contact really helps with the trauma bond. You guys know what a trauma bond is? Trauma bonds were created when you were in intense emotional experiences with the trauma with your abuser. And so those bonds need time to heal, and they heal when you go no contact. My abuser would cuss me all the way out, y'all, via text message. You hear what I'm saying? He would cuss me out. And so these things, and I was so used to feeling bad. I was so used to allowing what he said and did to hurt me that it makes sense to read these messages because maybe he was right. But I'm going to give you a little nugget, some little knowledge. They are lying, and do yourself a favor and block them if possible. No kids, no contact. If it's not about the children, don't contact me. If you can get that in writing with your restraining order, get that in writing with your divorce papers, do just that. But do not allow them to weave themselves in through messages on social media, messages to family and friends. Take your power back. Period. Remove him from social. Please don't tell me you're associated with your abuser. Please don't on social media. They don't need to see pictures of the kids. It's not necessary. Block them on social media. Media calling, email, whatever you need to do. Try doing that. Maybe get rid of, and this one took me a while to get rid of pictures and letters and things like that of that person because you still have that kind of love attachment to it. So as time goes on, it's another freeing mechanism that you can do. Okay. Yes, I've had a lot of survivors reach out and say that the abuser tries to contact them. Get in contact with Facebook through Messenger or something and let them know that somebody's harassing you or whatever, and see if they can get them blocked. It has worked for a few of them, so I encourage you to try to do the same. But block them. Don't allow anything that they say to enter your mind or your system again. Control what you allow in, and don't allow anything negative that they have to say about you or anybody that has anything negative to say penetrate. And it's I kind of, when I'm working with survivors, I kind of describe it like this: you have a shield up. I'm sorry, what did you? Oh no, I can't. No, I can't receive that. I'm letting that bounce right off of me. No, I can't receive that. That's not for me. Because you control what you allow to come past this right here. You allow what you allow to come past here. No, I don't know. I don't give you the power or permission to continue to hurt me. Period. If you have to write it on your wall, write it in your bathroom mirror, write it on your hand, write it on your phone. I do not give you permission to hurt me anymore. Period. All right. I'll be rambling, y'all. I'm sorry. Let me see. I want to try to get through my notes. Okay. This is really important to understand. When we leave an unhealthy relationship, really any relationship, but especially an unhealthy relationship where trauma bonds and trauma bonds have been formed, we kind of feel like we're reeling out of control. Like, oh my God, I knew what my life was. I don't know what it is now. Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? I still love them. I have children. All of this stuff. You're reeling with all of this stuff. And even though you know you didn't deserve the abuse, you still kind of feel connected to them or tempted to want to stay with them. These are all emotions that the no contact really does help you to stay away from. Slowly, if you don't feed something, it starts to die. And so that's kind of what you want to do with the feelings that you had. You don't water that plant. That plant is gonna dry up and shrivel up and die. And that's literally what you want to do with the poison that they tried to feed you all those years. No contact is a time for healing and reviving yourself, and blocking out all the negativity that they did. Because remember, with abuse, whether it becomes physical or not, they're abusing you verbally and emotionally. And so it's really, really important that you understand that your goal is to block them from all of this. Okay, sorry, I had to mute you for a second. Okay, so remember that anyone that has treated you ever with any type of disrespect should not have the opportunity to come into your life, whatever and however they feel like it. You got a gate. You got a window lock, you got a door, you decide what you allow in and out of that. And if they've ever hurt or disrespected you, you decide if and when they're able to come back into your life. Okay. I remember when I was transitioning to finding my voice and stuff, and I was like, no, you can't, don't say that to me. Or no, I don't like that. My little sister, because I was a yes person, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. No problem. I'll do it. My little sister was like, oh, well, you need a billboard that says Lisa said no on it. I said, well, yeah. She's like, because every time somebody asks you something, you say no. But what I realized, I was always saying yes, whether it was the things I wanted to do or not. And so it was important for me that if I didn't want to do it, or if it made me feel unsafe or unhappy, then I said no. And guess what? You have that same power. And I encourage you to utilize it. Okay? Yes, Dana, she's right. There's grief involved in it. And that's okay. It's okay to be sad and grieve. So let me talk about that for a second. Sadness is okay. And I talked about it in our live with Dr. Karan a few weeks ago. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay. It's okay that it hurts. And it's okay that it's lonely. I remember first time we moved into our house with just me and my kids, and I was sitting in the living room. I put them to bed and I just cried because it was so quiet. And I wasn't used to that. And I was like, is this what I really want? And I had to realize I have to push through this moment of sadness and weakness to get to the other side. Okay, so let me see. Where am I? Let me see. Okay. I talk about cutting people off in your life. Do what you need to do for your own safety and sanity. I say that to this day. For my own sanity and safety purposes, I can't attend. If I want to go somewhere and I'm going to feel uncomfortable or unhappy, I'm not going, And that's just the way that I've decided to live my life, because I fought too hard for my peace. And I would encourage you to do the same. When you're in an abusive relationship and you finally get to peace and you fought so hard for your peace, you don't allow anybody to just come take it from you, because you know what it takes to get it and you know what it takes to maintain it. And so let's see. Let me see. I'm just a rambling today. I only have an hour with y'all, so let me see. Okay, so this was I'm a big journaler. I still am, but I was a really, really big journaler. Okay. And where I really like to write down my thoughts and my feelings. And when I was in my marriage, I wrote down situations that occurred. And then I would throw them away, because if he apologized, I wouldn't want anybody to ever find this, or I would never want to read him again because I had already forgiven him. So I would throw it in the garbage. I remember one time throwing a journal away, and I went back to the garbage, took it out, ripped out the negative pages, and then kept the journal. And so I would encourage you to be honest with yourself. Write down the pros and cons. It's like, why did I decide to leave? Why did I decide to leave? Like, stay gone. Talk about what really happened. And it's okay. You may not be ready for that. And I would encourage you, if it's a really sensitive topic, or if you're experiencing any PTSD or CPTSD, do it with a trauma therapist or someone who can really help you work through it. But sometimes we tell ourselves, oh, it didn't really happen, or it wasn't really that bad, or he didn't really mean it, or she was drunk, or maybe he was high, so he didn't really mean to do that. Yes, they did. Drugs and alcohol do not make anybody abuse. Okay. So let's just clarify that if I haven't said it before in one of my other lives. So we're not going to make excuses. We're going to talk about things for what they really were. And in order to function in an abusive relationship, sometimes you have to continue to block out things that happen so you could still look the person in the face. And so I would encourage you, if you want to write it down, journal it, talk about it through talk therapy. That's really important as well. But you start to free yourself from the situation. And you also begin to look at it honestly, like, wow, that really did happen. That happened to me. I was going to say something. Okay. So I understand that you may still love your abuser. You may still care for them, but that does not mean you need to be with them. All right. All right. So I've been on for like 50 minutes. So let me see if there's any other questions. Okay. I know I had some come in that I want to make sure that I address. Okay. So having kids, I know is very, very difficult if you're in a relationship, if you have to deal with your abuser. I understand that it's very, very difficult. I have two. And whether I like it or not, I have to deal with him for the rest of my life with my children. So do your best. If you can have this kind of communication with them via third party, keep the conversation short, sweet, and to the point. Is it about the children? Pick up 3:00. Great. You do not allow them to control where the conversation goes or just be able to say anything to you. Those days are over. Okay. You've taken your power back. So with that in mind, go ahead and, okay, children, 3:00. Okay. 5:00. Is your mom going to pick them up? Am I going to drop them off? Okay. What's going on? Okay. Thank you. Because if the abuser is still in the business of trying to manipulate you, put you down, or get in your head, too much conversation, they're jumping in there. So you want to try to keep that as minimal as possible. And if they decide to show their ugly, abusive head, say, cut it off. And that's I love what I do, because I get to tell women the truth. You have the power to decide how people treat you. Oh, no, you can't do that. So if they decide they want to be disrespectful or abusive again, let them know that you're not tolerating any of this behavior. Okay. And so you hang up the phone, or please email or text me, and make sure you keep all text messages and documentation. That's really, really important. Yes, Mavis, it's a new season. She kept the journal from a few years ago. Okay, so let's talk about the guilt after leaving, especially with a child. There is guilt after leaving, especially with children. And I'd like to look at it like this. So I'm assuming your question is talking about taking the child with you. So you have the child with you and you feel guilt about leaving. I get that. I would say that there's more guilt in staying and exposing my child to abuse than there is with taking my child and leaving. So like, my children had a lot more financially and stuff like that when I was with my husband at the time. They did, and when I left, we were in a room in my parents' house. Like, we were down to like nothing. Mommy had no job. I had nothing, but they had me, and we were safe. We weren't living in fear every day. They weren't seeing their mom be physically abused, emotionally. They weren't seeing it anymore. And so I would have to say that, think about the guilt more in staying, because you're exposing your children more to it, than leaving. in protecting your children from it. And today, I've been married almost 4 years, and my kids are so disgusted with the amount of love my husband and I show each other. We call them honey, and it drives them crazy. But I promise you, it's so much better than sitting in the middle of the night, holding my 2 children in my arms, terrified of my ex-husband abusing me, and them watching it all the time. And so that would be my answer with that. Hey, I see y'all saying hi. Okay. All right, so let me keep going. And also, abusers do use children as tools and weapons. And I have to be honest with you. I know a lot of women reach out and they tell me that their abusers using their kids against them. And you can't afford an attorney, and the court system is terrible. And you feel like you're being re-victimized in the court system. I absolutely understand that's 100% true. I get it. That's true. And there should be more resources for survivors. And that's one of my main goals, is that we try to stop the abuse before it happens. And if it happens once, then you have the strength to leave. So one of the questions was if you're married and they're willing to change, as they've said many times before. So what that tells me reading that is that you've left before and that they said they're going to change. So you went back and the abuse continued, but they're trying to change. Okay. So they're trying to change and feel bad for not trying again, but it took so much for me to leave that situation. I'm stuck. So I will say this. An average time survivor leaves is about 7 times and they go back. You have to know when enough is enough for you. And I will say this, if they didn't change those several times you went back, I don't think that they're going to change now. But if they decide to change, they're going to have to change on their own. That has nothing to do with you being physically in the same space with them. They do the work, they get the help, that's on them. If and when you decide to move forward, it has to be done with professional help to know if this person is actually changed. But you staying in that situation because they said they change is dangerous, or hoping that they'll change is dangerous. They have no reason to change. You're still there. There's no reason for them to change. So, and statistics are very slim. I think it's between, I don't even want to put a number, but it's less than 10% of abusers that actually change ever. So it's very slim. And people always talk about the abuser. We have the power to change too. We have the power to say no more. We have the power to say enough. That's our power. So yeah, and it escalates. The longer it goes on, it just continues to get worse and worse and worse. He went from holding me down to like grabbing me, to like sexually assaulting me, to like, punching me like I was a dude in the street. It just escalated. And I was like, and to this day I have severe headaches. You can't, no, and enough is enough. You've got to say, okay, yeah, we're done. We're done with this. I'm taking my power back. I left. Yep. Hi, Jean. I left twice, and the second time was a lot. Yeah, there's got to be a time when you say enough is enough. Enough is enough. And I know if you guys watching have heard my story before, but I was watching a lady on YouTube at night, and I was watching her talk about her story. And she said she was in an abusive relationship. She left. She was remarried. And she had this whole life. And I was like, whoa, I'd never seen it before. And I always tell that story with such passion because it's literally true. And it's happened. I got up that night, packed my children, left a note on the counter, got in the car, and we were gone. We never went back to that house again. And it was watching her story that made me say, oh my goodness, wait, what? He made me think everybody lived like this. I thought everybody did this to their spouse. Like, what? There's life and you got love? I'm gone. So I left. Yes, I agree, Jen. We have to love ourselves more than we love them. And that's the thing in an abusive relationship. They position you so much that you just keep trying. It's like it's a never-ending goal that you're trying to reach. Well, do this. If you did this, I'd love you more. If you did this, I wouldn't do this. If you did this. So you're trying to reach this goal that is unattainable because they keep moving the mark, right? And so we forget about ourselves. We lose ourselves just to try to chase this imaginary love line that's not there for them. And so we end up loving them more than we love ourselves, right? So let me say, yes. Okay, so you're leaving. How do I stay free? This is really, really important, okay? So important. You got to find something that is really yours. What is it that you always wanted to do or be or always wanted to see or do? Like, what is your thing? I remember from one of my things was every birthday, he would spoil it. Every birthday I spent in tears. I was going to do this for you, but this. I was going to do this for you, but you didn't. And so I would always try to do what he wanted me to do for my birthday so I could have a good day. Never happened. And so I said myself, I think my 30th birthday was my first one. And it's my third. And I said to myself, every birthday, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to make sure that I'm happy. I went on a cruise, my first cruise. I did all these things, threw myself a party. I decided that you weren't going to continue to control how I got happy. So for me, it was, I wanted to go back to school. So I got degrees, I always wanted to be a doctor. So I got degrees. I always wanted to be my best self. And I wouldn't because I remember one day I'm talking to y'all like y'all at the house, and he was like, oh, you think you're so smart because you got all these degrees? And I was thinking, no, you think I'm so smart. That was never I just did that for me. But what you're not going to do is minimize what I've done for myself. See, those days are over. See what I'm talking about? See how that happened? Yeah. So let me see. Educating and empowering. Yep, that's the goal, you guys. They do ruin every holiday or special event. They try to make it about themselves. So my point is, find something, whether it's going back to school, whether it's a new hobby, whether it's a relationship, whatever it is that's for you, find that thing, and do that thing that brings a smile to your face. Okay. Did I miss that? Okay. So let me see. Okay. Process, heal, go to therapy, go to church, go to your faith leader, join a women's group, go to domestic violence group or anything, whatever you need to do to get yourself back again. Look in the mirror and decide, what do I like about me? What do I love about myself? I'm going to try if I have her book here. Let me see if I have it. Yay. Okay. This one was a really good one. And I'm not like doing shout outs, but love Cami Martin. She's great. And her book is called Watch Me, Choose Me. And she talks about how she wrote one day, she just decided one day, let me figure out, who am I? How do I get back to me? What do I like? What color do I like? What do I like to do? Where do I like to go? Because you lose yourself in your abusive relationship. So find yourself and surrounded by people who could help you find you. And accept compliments, accept things like, oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, you're so smart. Oh, you're so pretty. They've broken you down for so long that it's so hard for you to believe any of that. I encourage you to receive those things because they are true about you. And so I would encourage you to, oh my God, I'm going so long, to do that. And last but not least, actually I have a couple things left, but yes, I love that, Dana. You are still there. Dig her back out. And I beg to say that, you're going to be better. You're going to be stronger because things that you accepted and tolerated before, no, that doesn't work. That's not going to happen. And so you become this bigger, stronger person that you were before, and you won't ever allow anybody to do that to you again. That's my motto. And that's what I encourage you to do. Okay, so somebody said church coming to Jesus was theirs. Jesus is always mine. Let's see. Joyce Meyer. Joyce Myers is amazing. Love her. Let's see. Finding a group. That was really, really important. Don't journey through this alone. Don't journey through it. Okay. And be open to love again. I remember because I got divorced when I was like 30 almost. And I knew I wanted to be married again. I was young enough. I even wanted to have children, y'all. And I did not plan to have this one who's running around my house. But I was like, I would love to be married again. I would love to just learn to be in a marriage that was healthy, where I'm not afraid, where I'm not sleeping with a knife under my pillow, where I wake up and it's like this person's laying next to me and everything is still okay. Like it was this weird desire that I had. But I knew that I wanted it because I remember telling God, please don't let me die without ever feeling what real love feels like, and he didn't. I'm still here. And I get to experience that every day. Marriage is not perfect by any means. And anybody who's married will tell you that's the truth, but it's good and it's healthy. And that's what's most important is when you decide to open yourself to love again. I talk to a lot of women who say, oh, I would never again. I can trust no one. I encourage you to trust someone. Start with yourself. Trust yourself enough to know that you've healed, that you've processed, that you've moved forward enough to decide I can date again. And somebody had asked a question. Okay, so how do I learn to trust again? I want to date, but question everything. Okay, question everything. Absolutely question everything. Whether you've been in one abusive relationship or 10 abusive relationships, you know that there's things, red flags, things that shouldn't happen or be said or be done. So question everything. I'm sorry, what did you say? Do a background check. Do whatever you need to do to make yourself feel comfortable. There's no reason to rush into love. What's for you is for you. And that's what I truly believe. And so question everything and not to the point where you're super duper paranoid and you can't trust anyone ever again. Put yourself, okay, maybe you want to date, maybe whatever, but if you desire to be in a relationship, allow yourself to be open to it. Okay. And we're doing a series called Love After Abuse. And we have some recordings and stuff we're going to be putting out in a book, and about all this, about different survivors who have found love, whether it's in relationships, whether they've just built their family up or whatever, because love after abuse does exist. And if you find that you're really having difficult coping with it, talk to a mental health professional, let them help you process through that. And I'll say this again, because people be trying to get on me. I don't ever want to be married again. It's not for everybody. It's okay to be single and be in love with your life and live the best life ever. It doesn't have to be with another person. But if you so desire to be committed and be in a relationship or be married, it's available to you if you just allow yourself and open yourself up to it. So I'm going to end on this note because I think it's critically important. And I may make a short video on this just in case nobody feels like watching the hour to get to this. So I've been having a lot of conversations lately with survivors, and they're like, they would never hurt me that bad. They would never kill me. Yes, they threatened to, but they wouldn't. How do I know that they're that dangerous? Okay, so let me go back. The fact that they said it is dangerous enough. Okay. The fact that they threatened it is dangerous enough. Please do me a favor and don't ever minimize for one hot second the fact that you think that they would never. Says who? And I mean, honestly, especially during COVID-19, the stresses are extremely high. And so you have to understand, and I just posted it earlier this week, domestic violence is deadly. Okay. So I'm just going to make a couple points. Have they ever threatened to kill you? If they threaten to kill you, believe that one day they might. Okay. Okay. Just going to say it. They would never. Of course. Who says they would never? When someone is at the point that they have said that to you, they're bold enough to say that to you. Exactly, Jean. Run. Believe it. If they said it, believe it. Run. Have they ever threatened you with a weapon? 500% more likely to get killed with a gun if there's a weapon in the home in a domestic violence incident. Have they threatened you or your children? Okay. These are all things I really, really, really want you to take seriously. We don't need to turn on the TV again and see another murder-suicide. No, I can't imagine not being here to be with my children. And I don't want you to have to do it either. You know, I'm contacted by women all the time, and I deal with them, and I'm face to face with them. And they've just become so broken down because of what another person has said or done to them. No, you don't give any. Okay, we understand it's happened. Now, what are you going to do about it? Take your power back. Do not allow someone to control you that much or for that long. Understand that you don't deserve it. You're not who they said you were. And you can live and survive without them really well, actually. Okay, so this is another one. They threatened to kill themselves. If they decide they want to kill themselves, it has nothing to do with you. Do not carry that weight for yourself. If they say that they're going to kill themselves, that has nothing to do with you. Do not carry that. Please don't. And I've heard my ex-husband said he's gonna kill himself too. And so I stayed thinking if I stayed, then he wouldn't. It has nothing to do with me. Do I want you to? Of course not. I love you, but I can't stop you. And I can't be the reason why you do or don't do that. That's too much of a weight for me as a person to carry. It's too much of a weight for you to carry. Another thing, choking. Choking is one of the biggest steps that are going to next end deadly, because they can kill you alone with their hands. So what they did was they choking you and they decided to stop choking you. That was a choice. But what if they decided to keep choking you? That's your life. Okay. What else I got? Are they constantly checking up on you? Where are you? What are you doing? Following you around? These are all serious red flags. And there are actually signs that the lethality is around the corner. Death. I'm not going to repeat that, but yeah, she's got a point. Strangling, weapons in the home, threatening to kill you or the children, threatening to hurt themselves. These are all signs that they're escalating in their abuse. Jean said it best. Run. All right. Now, you guys know I could talk about DV forever, but I'm not going to do that tonight. I've already been on for an hour right now. And so let me see if there's any other comments before I leave y'all alone. That's good. It gets worse. And they're not feeling bad about what they did to you because they continue to abuse. It escalates. You don't owe them a single second of loyalty. Nope. Let me see if there's any other questions in here before I go. If you have any questions, throw them before. And anyway, thank you for joining me tonight. For those of you that are going to be watching the replay around the world, I hope that you comment. If you have any questions, please feel free to inbox me. Let me see. Anyway, all right. It validates the truth when you write. Oh, that's a good one. I didn't see that one. Dana said it validates the truth when you write. I agree with that. Earlier, we talked about journaling and how important it is for you to kind of process and visually see the things that you went through. It's like, whoa, that happened to me. I went through that. And I posted something earlier this week. It said, it's not until you really start to talk about what you endured that you realize how much you tolerated and put up with and how much pain you were actually in. So yeah, that it does validate it when you write. Like, this actually happened to me. This was not okay, and I do not have to tolerate it. All right, you're welcome. You're welcome. See y'all later. Okay, so if he said that, I'm not going to repeat your name, but if he threatened that he was going to kill you, believe him, and he doesn't need to have a weapon to do so. Do what you need to do to get a protection order. Yeah, don't take those threats light. Don't take those threats lightly, hun. Yeah. She said, I thought it meant he cared for me because at first he would constantly call and check up on me. It's called control. I thought so too. It's definitely all about power and control. How can they control you? How can they, what are you wearing? Who are you with? What are you doing? Yeah, it has nothing to do with love or caring so much about you. That is a lie. Okay, so I felt like I did great after I left at first, but after I got the restraining order against him, I started to miss him and get depressed. Yeah, that's so true. I get it. I feel that for you. It makes sense that after you left, you start to feel lonely and, oh my goodness, did I make the right decision? I don't know. Are you safer? Maybe not convenient. You may be in a shelter, but safer. I understand the feeling of feeling depressed and sad because you've made the decision to leave. It wasn't an easy decision to leave. But this is the thing. Like I always say, you leave, but you keep going. You keep going. You don't stop because here's the goal. Here's the goal, right? Let me maybe make my bottle of water the goal, right? And you leave, you got the restraining order, but you said, oh, it's too painful. This is too hard right here. I can't, I gotta go. And you turn around, look how close you were. You didn't even realize that your peace, your joy, your happiness was this close. But you did, oh my goodness. Oh no, he called, he said he's sorry, I'm going back. But your freedom was right here. I promise you. If you just get here, you allow yourself to get to the freedom and the peace of being on the other side. All right, you guys, I'm rambling and I'm out of here. So thanks for hanging with me. I will see y'all next time.